So we're back with Otto. Today's his first walk out since we started training. He is definitely an extreme case. If he looks a little haggard, please excuse the mess. He will not potty outside. He also doesn't potty when we let him out to potty. So he's had a couple accidents in his kennel. That's one of the things we're to work on. But we've not been able to take him out yet because I wanted to make sure I had him on the appropriate setup with the e-collar and prong collar. It took me a couple of days to figure out what was going to work best for him, and that was indoors. So again, this is his first outdoor experience, and we can see just that extreme fear because we're in a little busy area here. We also walking alongside a train, which is his biggest fear that we know of, outside from like loud truck noises, things like that. So whereas we don't expect the owner to walk him under a train because we're literally under a train track here, once we start to get away, he should start to relax a bit more. I'm currently near max power here, and I've been just toning him down. We're gonna go this way, Astrid, where it's a little bit more quieter, see if we can see him, if it makes a difference for him. So Otto here, definitely one of the worst cases I've seen in 15 years of training dogs. Sorry, I'm relaxed a little bit more. Owner can barely walk him, as you saw right now. Like that was him tamed down. If you haven't seen the first video, in the first video you'll see him kind of all over the place. This is already much better than what it was. But as you can see, we were just walking underneath that train track there. And that's one of his biggest fears. But what's even crazier is that when I met with the owners, and I talked about this in this first video, when I met with the owners, we were about half a mile away from the train, and you can hear it in the background. I'm sorry, we can hear it in the background. I didn't film the console because I was running late. Just be careful here, or we might have to stop. You know, you can't hear it in the video because you know we are half a mile away. Sorry, excuse me. I'm getting distracted here. So I didn't film it. But even if I did film it and I had mics, you would not hear the train because again, it's half a mile away. But you can hear it while you're there. And even at half a mile away, this guy was freaking out and panicking. So again, I wish I had filmed it, but I didn't because I was running late. So I didn't really get to see the full extent of his fear until when I took him on that walk for the video to show the behavior. So the first 2 days, couldn't really do much with him because everything that we're doing, he just completely was overriding, did not care about the e-collar, was barely fazed by it. We ended up maxing out the collar, and you can see the contraction like this, could care less about it because his fear flight response is so high. And we were training in my front lobby. We're gonna go down one more block and then we'll turn right. We're filming in my front lobby, and my front lobby is, again, we have the train track right there, so there's constant trains moving by. They've been doing work on the train as well, so there's big horns blasting, big beeping. Semi-trucks come through regularly, so it's just constant noise, and that's what he struggles with. So even though we were inside, he was still stressed out, still in an extreme fear flight state, mental state, nothing getting through to him. This is beyond even good handler skills. I have very good handler skills because I come from Cesar Milan methodology, and it's just, you know, human leash dog. Not going to do anything in this case. We need something that's going to cut through all the fear. So that's where pressure comes into play. So with a singular collar, Black Edition, high-powered output collar, could care less, completely overriding the collar. I was able to work with him The problem was I was already maxed out before he even cared a little bit about it. So, and I warned the owner about this during the consultation. I was like, his fear is very high, so there's a possibility he might be on 2 collars. And you know, so I let her know that during the consultation. Sure enough, that ended up happening. I was able to work with him, but the issue is if I'm already at 127, like there's nowhere else for me to go. Like it's already maxed out, right? So, and that was inside my front lobby. So the assumption is, well, if he's already maxed out in the front lobby, once we get out in the real world, it's gonna go out the window. He's not gonna care about the high power anymore. So I ended up doing a dual collar. So he's on 2 Black Edition collars with 3/4 inch thick haired probes because we need a good contact as well. And then finally, it started to register and I was able to start to override him. And by override, I mean when he gets stuck in fear flight mode, when he's trying to run away. I need enough pressure, we're gonna turn right here, that's gonna cut through that extreme fear flight state. And get him to hone in and focus. Like you can already see it here a little bit because that big muffler, right? How he started to inch ahead there. That was 2 taps. I'm at 112 currently. There's the train in the background. 2 collars. Yep, you can see it, right? So it's 2 collars, and that's the roar of the train. This is already, however, much better. But you can see how he's still stuck in that fear flight mode. We're gonna bump it. That was 112, we're gonna be at 120 here. So just under max. But you can see, I'm tapping him right now. And he's barely caring about any of it, okay? That's how intense the mental state is here. So when we talk about pressure, you know, it's hard for people to understand unless you've actually seen this like I have. Like this is not the first time I've seen a dog override a collar. It's happened before, usually because of aggression, okay? But aggression is also just a mental state. And in the cases where I've had the double collar dogs in the past, they've been like 140, 150 pound dogs. So then that also makes sense because people go, oh, like it's a big dog too. Like that makes sense, right? But here, this guy's probably 80 to 90 pounds, maybe. He's small for a burner. This is bad genetics. His legs are kind of wonky. He's small. And of course, this extreme fear, this is nothing to do with what the owners did or anything like that. This guy was born this way. People have a hard time understanding or trying to imagine how something that we dub as bad can help a dog. And it's because dogs don't think of it as this is pain. When you condition it correctly, they think of it as communication. So I can disagree with decisions. So earlier when that train came and he was getting flighty and you saw me turn a couple of times, I was correcting the fear response, which was, uh-oh, I need to escape. So I'm telling him that by correcting that is not an option. But he's already been conditioned on the collar. That's why it's taken a little bit. Today is day 6 of his 4-week board and train, is I wanted to make sure, 1, I had the correct setup for him, but then 2, that he had a good foundation of what the collar is communicating, because I know this is going to be the biggest challenge for him, okay? So once you understand a lot of behaviors are just mental state, anxiety, fear, nervousness, aggression, right? And then it's the intensity of the behavior, like a very anxious dog, a very fearful dog, a very aggressive dog, right? You start to see how pressure relates to it. So if this was a lower level fear case, I wouldn't be on a double collar system. You know, I'd probably be on a singular collar, you know, and his number would be like 50 or something like that. It'd be much more, I want to say acceptable, because it's like, oh, okay, like I get it. But this guy is, so you can hear, because there's that car rooming in the background. I'm not sure if my mic is picking it up, but see, this is the fear flight, okay? So now, right now, I'm trying to get him to hone in again. Right, there's a semi truck here, or a van, making a noise. Right, so I'm tapping a bunch here. So now it's, oh, it's a dumpster truck, so we're gonna come here. I'm tapping, as you can see. Got a lot of commotion going on. Tap, tap. Good, this is a lot for him. But you can see the contraction is so strong how it's shaking his head. Good, but he's still stuck. Okay, so right now I'm trying to get him back. Yep. Back to reality right now. Good, so you can see he's still stuck in that fear flight mode. Okay, because sitting still for a dog like this is harder. Okay, but you see how he's still trying? Good. This is not him trying to run away from the e-collar. This is him trying to run away from the world. Good. So this is already better, but he's still in extreme case. So the hard part's going to be, teaching this to the owners, because there's going to most likely be an emotional part to this. Like, oh, wow, my dog's on 2 collars. I called the owners. I let them know right away. I think on day 2 that, my assumption was correct. He's going to be a two collar dog, all that stuff. And they're like, we want to do everything that we can to keep this dog. So that's why we're here. We'll cut right here, Astrid. This way. So, but definitely worlds away from where we started. If you watch that first video, there was 0 work done there. Now you can see how that the fear is starting to kick in right now. Okay. So I'm able to handle him and have an actual walk, whereas before he was just dragging all over the place. He's a sturdy little guy too, so it was hard to even use good handling skills to keep him as de-escalated as possible. So we still have him for another 3 weeks. Hardest part, of course, is going to be just teaching the owners this stuff, getting them comfortable, getting them to accept, like, okay, you got a dog that's so scared of everything that he needs 2 collars to override or get him to think opposite, right? So like right now, there we go. Start to relax a bit more. This is better, right? But this is 120 on a dual collar system. And, it's not that I'm punishing the fear, because that's what people struggle with too. Like, how do you punish fear? I'm punishing or correcting the choices he makes because of his fear. Okay, which is he wants to just book it. I don't have an issue with him being scared of things, but there's an issue of just how extreme he gets. And if we don't address these issues, and this is a dog that gets surrendered, he's either going to get returned to the breeder. The breeder's not going to be able to do anything with this dog. So then I don't know if the breeder's going to put the dog down, or if the owners would just decide maybe we should just put the dog down because, like, it's not a good life. So that's where I come into play, because one of my things is I can only take you as far as you're willing to go. So if the owner's willing to do everything they need to get Otto, so you can see the fear kicking in, get Otto to dial in, we're going to turn right here, Astrid, then he's going to have a much higher chance of keeping his home. So here's the flight kicking in. Good. That might be because we're closer to the train. It might be because there's a truck coming from behind us. So at least with this, like, he's manageable. Again, this is his first walk too, but I don't know that it's going to get much better than this, to be honest. But as long as the owners can walk him, then they're happy with it. Next problem we're going to have to tackle is potty training, because this guy will not potty outside because he's so stressed out. Now, I've had a couple of cases like this before, that not to this degree, but that were similar, that they were stressed out when they would go outside and they wouldn't potty. And I was able to figure it out. But this guy's way worse than they were, so even I'm questioning if I'll be able to do it. All right, you're gonna keep filming. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna stop to give him a potty break. Okay. And then we're just gonna walk back just to see how he does on the return, to see if it's better. Okay. Yeah. And I'll give him a potty break where the goats usually are.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think he's gonna go though. This is a lot better than what it was. Jesus. And we're maxed out now.
Have you ever triple e-collared dog?
I'm sorry?
Have you ever triple e-collared?
I honestly have thought about it. Not like for this guy, I've thought about it. How you doing, sir? Doing well. I think he's gonna just end up just being scattered brain break. But that's the next thing now on the agenda is to try to get him to potty outside. Walk down a little bit. All right, we'll walk back. We'll do a little bit of a brisker pace too. It's hot. We'll have to make sure he gets walks most of the week. Because he's gonna need them. We'll go down this way, then we'll cross and go over. Whoa. All right, this is maxed out with collars. Plus the heat too doesn't help. Just walking towards the train now. We're gonna leave him in the ISO pen too, overnight. Nate thinks that he might be eating his poop. So, because you'll see the poop in the morning, like where he went,
Yeah.
but there won't be anything. So he thinks he might be eating it. And then he pooped in the kennel, then Nate moved him, and then he pooped in the other kennel. When we get back, we're gonna film with Snooky. Just me taking him in, or taking him out the kennel, putting him in a group, and then taking him back. Because we're gonna do a video about him too. Almost there. We got a train coming. Once we go in, you can cut it. Break. Good.